Now, Delta State in the South-South region has recorded two new more cases of the coronavirus, bringing the state total to 27, the second highest in the region behind their neighbors, that's Edo State, which now has 95 cases. The two new cases were captured in the NCDC's latest figures, which puts the country's total to at 5,959. Delta State recorded its first case of the coronavirus in April this year. The state currently has 10 active cases, 12 discharged, and 5 deaths. Joining us on the program is the Commissioner for Information in Delta State, Mr. Charles Aniogo. He joins us via Skype. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, Honorable Commissioner.
Yeah, good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
Now, Delta has the second highest number of cases in the South-South region because we're now looking at these spread across region. So we have in your state 10 active cases, 12 have been discharged, and unfortunately 5 deaths have been recorded. Can you give us an update on the management of the cases, especially now that you've recorded 2 new cases?
Well, thank you. Let me inform you that about 9 local governments are actually affected. The numbers you're talking about involve 9 local governments. And before then, we have had cause to test as many as 364 persons. And now you have the 20 persons that you mentioned in the course of delivering the numbers. But we have also had cause to have as much as 402 suspected cases. Of course, you know, tested persons, while we have about 364 suspected cases. The reason why you may have more number tested than those suspected, you do know that there are those even when you don't suspect them and then it comes in and then you test. That's why you have more number of persons tested than the number of persons suspected. And the 4 centers, treatment centers that we have established have been taking care of these individuals, that's these 27 persons. But right now, the Federal Medical Center have been able to treat the persons that were sent there and then discharge them. We also have persons at the Central Hospital in Asaba, some in Ogara, and then the 4th center, which is in Warri. But you may want to ask why we have as much as 5 deaths. Let me inform you that about 3 of these individuals even died before they were confirmed positive, because a number of persons either have pre-existing conditions or they reported quite late, which is why we are emphasizing the need for individuals to report as soon as they discover that they have ailment or symptoms that point to the direction of COVID-19. But we can tell you that our medical personnel have been very much up and doing. We have also been able, as a government, make sure that they also have a number of facilities to work with, particularly personal protective equipment, in addition to some other incentives that were put in place for the purpose of encouraging our medical personnel to take up the challenge of managing COVID-19 better. We just do hope, by the grace of God, progress that our numbers don't go beyond where it is now, even if we have a number of who take care of those who are infected.
We know that your state is bordered by a couple of states, including Edo, Anambra, and a couple of other states around. And one of the measures that several states are taking is to stop interstate movement. And we're aware that the border has been closed in your state. How effective is that being managed at the moment to help reduce the spread of the virus?
Well, that's a very major challenge, particularly the boundaries with those where you rightly pointed out that it's a very high number. We have no fewer than 10 boundaries where you can do the state through a state. And some of these places, there are some communities where you can just walk in which case you cannot even put such boundaries because you do know that before now we were just one state. So you have 1 or 2 towns merged together, but by the time you split it as the old vendor, you now have these towns, one in it and another one in there. Even as you to ensure that vehicles don't come in through there are individuals who just have to just in. Beyond that, we have also put to bring in some other private persons, civilians, to assist the security agencies, all with a view to beefing up the security at the borders, because we're having the challenge of a number of persons coming in from particularly the north. And of course, you do know that certain individuals, when the moment they walk into your state, you can't just drive them because of the constitutional provisions that makes it clear that anybody can live wherever he or she chooses within the country. So you can only stop them if they are coming in by vehicle and you are able to stop the vehicle and possibly turn them back. But even when you do that, they get to about 2 or 3 kilometers outside the state and then decide to now take some other route. I likely police, because of the picture painted to you earlier, that there are towns who are aligned with each other, like in Lagos, if you are moving in from Yaba and you want to go into part of Ikeja, move from Yaba to Juelaba, discover that in some schools there are some that individuals can take. But that's a major challenge. We do hope the federal government, particularly, come more respect to the state movement, so that the number of persons that are in escorting cattle or escorting some farm produce don't continue to do so. But if you want to be more strict, it doesn't happen. Individuals begin to paint pictures that you are not being democratic enough.
Mr. Charles Aniogo is the Commissioner for Information in Delta State. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me.